In the old Cherokee tellings collected among the mountain towns, the sky was not empty the way a modern city sky is empty. It was a country with roads. The sun lived in one direction, the moon in another. Between them moved stories the way rivers move stones, slowly and with purpose. This is not a tale about war or a monster with teeth. It is about a girl who danced on a summer night and was chosen by a husband she could not see clearly until it was too late to unchoose him. It is about the distance between the world above and the world where your mother waits by a fire. If you remember anything, remember a stomp ground lit by cedar, a path that climbed without steps, and a face in the moon that some tellers say is still looking for the village she left. The story does not scold you for wanting home. It only shows what happens when a sky husband asks for one promise and the heart cannot keep it. The girl's name changes in every telling, so this telling will call her what the elders call a daughter of the town. A young woman old enough to marry and young enough to believe marriage might feel like a song that never ends. On the night of the dance, the men cleared a circle in the hard-packed earth. Cedar smoke rose. Drums found the heartbeat of the ground, and the ground answered. Women moved in a line that was also a river. Men entered from the dark at the edge of the firelight, one by one. She danced until her breath became part of the rhythm. Then a man stood before her who did not smell of sweat and wood smoke the way the village men did. His voice was quiet. His face stayed half in shadow even when the fire flared. He asked her to dance as if he already knew she would say yes. She said yes. That is how many sky stories begin. Not with a kidnapping in the loud way of epics, but with a choice made in music before the mind has put on its armor. When the drums thinned and the last embers banked themselves for morning, he took her hand. His palm was cool as riverstone at dusk. He said his home was not far. In Cherokee tellings, that can mean a mile or a world. They walked out of the circle. The path rose where no path had been. Through laurel, then above the tree line, then into air that still held the smell of leaves. She looked back once and saw the town as a small nest of light among the dark mountains. Her mother was in that light. She did not know yet how sharply a person can miss a single fire. The moon, for that is who he was, though he had not named himself, led her into the upper country where clouds are only the floor. Houses there were built of light and patience. People moved without hurrying. Time did not vanish. It simply stopped pinching. She told herself she would visit the town soon. Every bride tells herself something like that. Sky brides just say it farther from the ground. Life in the moon's house was not cruel. That is important. These tales are often misremembered as punishments dressed as weddings. The moon gave her soft robes that held night in the weave. Food tasted of clear water and wild strawberries. Windows opened onto distances no footpath could reach. She learned the manners of the upper world. Do not boast of the earth. Do not weep where the wind can carry it down. Do not ask the sun personal questions. At night, the moon sat with her and talked of cycles, how waxing and waning are not moods but duties. He was gentle. He was also absolute in the way celestial beings are absolute without trying to be. Seasons passed in the town below. Upstairs, as it were, seasons passed differently. She bore a child in some tellings. In this telling, she bore only longing, the kind that starts as a small stone in the chest and grows heavy enough to tilt the whole body toward home. One evening, she heard, or thought she heard, a woman's voice on the wind from the east. It might have been her mother singing the old way when she thought no one was listening. She asked to look down at the town. The moon did not refuse at first. He led her to a high place where the earth spread out like a dark quilt stitched with rivers. She saw smoke. She saw fields. She saw the stomp ground empty in daylight, and her heart tightened like a fist. Then he said the words that become the hinge of the tale. You may look. You may even grieve. But you must not call down to them. You must not throw your voice into the world below as if the sky were a balcony and the earth a kitchen you could still walk into. If you do, the road between will close. She promised. Promises are easy in the arms of someone who holds the tides. She meant it when she said it. Meaning is not the same as keeping. The moon kissed her forehead and went on his rounds. Thin at the horizon, full in the middle of the month, always working. Left alone with the whole earth in view, she discovered how cruel sight can be when the body is still far away. Days in the Sky Village became a test of stillness. She watched her mother grow smaller without growing older in the way she expected. That is the trick of looking from too high up. People entered and left houses. A dog she had fed ran after a boy and she almost laughed, then remembered laughter also travels downward if you're not careful. At last, she broke the promise, not with a shout, but with a whisper. She leaned over the edge of the cloud floor and called her mother's name. Once, twice. The third time, she added the old pet name only a child uses, and that was the word that crossed the border. In the town below, her mother looked up, hand shielding her eyes, as if the afternoon had suddenly developed a voice. Neighbors came out. Someone said the moon looked closer than it should. Someone else said it was only weather. The girl in the sky saw her mother see her and felt both saved and doomed in the same breath. The road between closed with no thunder. Just a click, like a door latching, the sound of a rule enforced by the world itself. The moon returned pale with anger that was mostly sorrow. He did not strike her. Sky husbands in these stories rarely need to. He showed her what she had done. The voice she sent down had pulled on the fabric between realms. Tears in that fabric do not mend the way cloth mends. You wanted to belong to two houses, he said. No one belongs to two houses. You may keep the sky or you may keep the earth. You cannot keep both by shouting across them. She begged to go down, just for one morning, just to sit by the fire, just to let her mother touch her hair. He told her the truth that fairy tales save for the cruelest moment. If you return now, you return changed, and the town will not receive you as the girl who left. She chose the town anyway, or she tried. The path had vanished. The only way left was the long way through his face, the disc the world already watched. He lifted her into it not as a trophy, but as a reminder, some tellers say. Others say as mercy. So she would never be entirely gone from the mothers who look up. When the full moon rises over the mountains where the Cherokee towns once gathered and still gather in story, old women teach children to look for the shape of a girl turned profile. Hair loose, hand raised as if calling down or shading her eyes. Whether you see her depends on the haze and whether you are willing to believe a marriage can end in visibility instead of a feast. Her mother lived out her years under that light. She did not curse the moon. She told neighbors the truth. My daughter married the sky and forgot one promise. That is not the same as saying she did not love us. It is only the price of a door that only opens one way. The moon still makes his rounds. He keeps his distance from the sun, as Mooney's tellers said, thin as a ribbon when he must pass near her fire. And sometimes on clear nights, he keeps the face in the disk turned toward the earth. Not to mock, but so anyone who has left home without meaning to forever can recognize the look. If you remember anything, remember that longing is not a crime. The tale punishes the broken promise, not the love behind it. This was Forgotten Fables. This was the girl who married the moon. The Cherokee story of a dance, a sky road, and a face the night still shows when the clouds step aside.